Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Amelia Neptune and I am very happy to welcome you all to today's webinar, Rolling into Bike Month, Inspiration from Bicycle-Friendly Communities. Just a couple quick housekeeping notes and reminders. We are recording today's webinar and we will be sharing it through the League's YouTube channel and on our webinars page, which you're welcome to visit anytime. All attendees are off camera and muted, but you have the Zoom Q&A and the chat to ask us questions and to engage with each other at any time. And closed captions should be available and you can turn those on and off at any time. I want to start out by welcoming and thanking all of our wonderful speakers. We have 4 different communities represented today, and I'm really excited to help them share their stories and to have all of you be able to be inspired by the great work happening from Grand Junction, Colorado, Honolulu, Hawaii, Princeton, New Jersey, and Ridgeland, Mississippi. So we're covering a bit of ground across the US. And then once again, my name is Amelia Neptune, and I'm the director of the Bicycle Friendly America program at the League. And just a couple of quick notes, if you're new to the League, we are a national nonprofit bike advocacy organization. We have been around since 1880, and our mission is to lead the movement to create a bicycle-friendly America for everyone. We do this through policy work, through education work, and through showcasing and supporting local advocates on the ground all across the US. And one of the tools that we do that through is Bike Month, National Bike Month, which is the topic for today's webinar. So we're just a few days out from Bike Month. We celebrate National Bike Month in May, though we recognize that several states have their own bike month. So if you're in Colorado or Alaska, maybe you're celebrating in June. If you're in Florida, maybe you're celebrating in March. But we welcome everyone to participate and celebrate during National Bike Month, regardless of what your local community or your state is doing. And we've got a ton of really great resources that you can use any time of year on our website at bikeleague.org/bikemonth. And you can use this QR code. One of the new things we added to the website this year is an interactive map where we're adding any kind of local Bike Month or Bike to Work Day event that we're learning about from communities and local advocates all across the country. So we're still adding pins to this map. If you'd like to get your pin on the map, you can find instructions on how to do that on our website. And this is an interactive map, so you can sort of click around and zoom in on your community and find local events, find the date and the link of where it's happening. So we definitely encourage you to use this, share it, add your events to it, and help us celebrate Bike Month, however your community is celebrating. Just a few more tools that I wanted to highlight that the League has made available and updated this year. We have a lot of really great promotional materials that got a beautiful facelift this year. So there's a ton of great graphics and resources that you can download in English and in Spanish, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel where you are if you want to promote Bike Month. We also have fun tools like a Bike Month bingo that you can use and print out and download and share if you want to create some fun engagement opportunities in your community. We have things like sample press releases and template proclamations, and that's something we'll hear about today, is how communities are using Bike Month proclamations as an engagement tool. So there's a ton of resources like this on the Bike Month guide through our website, again at bikeleague.org/bikemonth, and I will put those links in the chat for everyone to enjoy. And now I'm going to introduce our first speaker, Henry Brown, who is with the city of Grand Junction, Colorado. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and invite Henry to come on and share his.
Great, thank you. Let me get this screen share started here. Are folks able to see that?
Yep, perfect.
Awesome. Well, thanks for including me today. My name is Henry Brown. I am the mobility planner for the city of Grand Junction, and we're super excited to be approaching Bike Month here. And so Amelia and the League invited me to share some of the programming that we're offering locally and just about what we're all looking forward to here in the city of Grand Junction and in the broader Grand Valley area. So I have here on my first slide just an overview of the different types of programming that we offer and that we're promoting for Bike Month coming up in May. I actually just got our t-shirts in here yesterday, so I can hold one up if you can see the camera in addition to my screen, but it's the same image that's on the screen there. The theme is actually borrowed from the Front Range and the Denver community, who they do celebrate Colorado Bike Month in June, and we're on the national calendar here in May because it's a little warmer on our side of the state. But that's just one example of the incentives that we offer for riders. We also have breakfast here at City Hall that we offer to the public as well as City Hall employees to try to get folks out for that day. And then throughout the month, different organizations are going to be offering group rides. Lots of opportunities, both any time of day, weekdays and weekends, for folks to get out and explore different parts of the city. And we've got some materials that support that wayfinding and route development coming from the city. The city is proud to host a lot of, and the region as well, proud to host a lot of races and festivals this month. So there will be a lot of, especially mountain bike folks out and about that we'll be seeing and supporting. I'll be cheering from the sidelines. I'm not a mountain biker. We're also really excited that here in the last couple months, we've been piloting some bike clinic efforts with our Unhoused Resource Center. And that's going to be continuing and seeing a different sense of promotion during the month here. One of our local organizations does a lot of volunteer efforts with their dig days, where folks go out and help maintain and develop some of those mountain bike facilities that I was mentioning earlier. And then we have our folks in the Urban Trails Committee, which is an advisory committee to City Council, working on pedestrian and bicycle counts that we use to support transportation development in the city. In addition, we've already been tabling out at quite a few family events leading up to Bike Month, but we've got even more of those planned for May. So here's an example of one of the big events that we're looking forward to, and one of the group rides we're leading. From a connectivity standpoint, we're celebrating some newly developed trail infrastructure. So this is a paved trail that's going to provide access to a mountain biking trailhead from a lot of new residential areas. Currently, the trail is paved all the way from town. So you can get to this really popular mountain biking area all the way from downtown, pretty much unseparated paved trails. And soon you'll be able to get to it from a much wider swath of residential areas, and it helps complete a loop around one part of town. So if anybody happens to be in or near the western slope of Colorado, feel free to come out and join us on the 20th of May to check out this cool new chain braking. I mentioned some assistance coming from the city in the form of helping develop routes and finding safe ways for folks to be able to travel, not just for recreation, but also for transportation. This is our newly updated 2025 wayfinding routes map, where if you can squint and see in the corner there, we're starting to classify the corridors by the stress level or the comfort level that they offer for riders of various abilities. And so previously we had just had solid lines on the map, which we didn't want to be misleading anybody into situations they didn't want to be in. And now we're excited to offer not just that level of detail, but also the QR code in the upper right corner that takes folks to see the complete map of all of our bicycle facilities in the city of Grand Junction. Taking sort of a broader look, this is everything, at least that's on our radar for the month of May and a little bit beyond on either end. You can see, like, each of the categories that I mentioned earlier has quite a few different events almost every week throughout the month of May. So lots of opportunities for folks of all experience levels and disciplines to get involved. Most of the events and the races and festivals are related to unpaved trail riding, mountain bike riding, and so forth. But many of the group rides focus more so on the accessibility side and making sure that folks feel comfortable just biking around town. I have included the logo from the GJ Bike Night group in the upper right. They're a really cool community organization that's doing weekly rides, actually pretty much throughout the warm season, but doing a lot of outreach for Bike Month in particular. I mentioned some of our family events and tabling in the first column there. So we have a lot of opportunities to reach different swaths of the community to talk about some of the safety aspects, group riding etiquette, hand signals and helmet fitting, bike rodeo, all those kinds of things to try to just increase the adoption and awareness of folks there. And then the volunteer events is something that we're also really proud of, offering a lot of opportunities and promoting some of our community organizations in the work that they're already doing. Speaking of which, we've got a huge list of partners here, and this is the first year that my organization is kind of taking more of a leadership role in Bike Month. So it's been shuffled around a little bit in the last couple of years, and so you can imagine probably that this is a lot of different groups to wrangle, and then there's a lot of passionate volunteers and community members as well. So one of the challenges that we've been facing this year is just making sure that we're including everyone who wants to be included and elevating those voices where we can, to include all the events that are going on, all the volunteer opportunities and so forth. And so this is a bit of a learning process for us. So I'm looking forward to hearing in the next webinar or the next sessions today as well from those presenters, how they're managing to corral everyone. But definitely want to acknowledge the support from all of these other organizations, both governmental and outside. Additionally, I've included some links, and I think Amelia suggested she could throw some of these in the chat because I don't think they'll work on the screen share here. But we have here some examples of the both state and local, as well as the league materials that we use to promote safety and creating a shared set of expectations from all road users to support safe transportation, as well as our calendars. You can see there's 4 different calendars linked on the page here. So that's just intended to highlight that there's a lot of logistical organization that has to go into trying to support all of the local energy that we have, that we're lucky to have. So I know that's a very kind of general overview, just intended to highlight that we're looking in a lot of different directions to try to promote a lot of all of the different folks, meet them where they are, and to really amplify the local energy that already exists for a lot of this. And the city actually plays an organizing role in relatively few of these events, but feel free to reach out to me if you've got any questions, or happy to answer any at the end of the presentations today. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Henry. That's a great transition too, because our next presenter is coming from a sort of different stakeholder group. So Malia Harunaga is with the Hawaii Bicycling League. She's the director of adult education, and we invited her on to talk about Honolulu's bike to work events and Bike Month events. So Malia, I will let you take it away with your screen share.
All right, here we are. Hi, I am located in Honolulu, Hawaii right now. This is me, Malia. I'm the director of adult education with Hawaii Bicycling League. I'm also a league coach and going to be talking about what's happening for Bike Month in Hawaii. So we've got standalone Bike Month events, starting off with a bang and wrapping up with an awesome party at the end. Bike to Work Week Energizer stations. We've got cleanups, social mixers. We're doing the National Ride of Silence, and we've also got hands-on and on-bike classes for adults as well as youth. So this is just kind of overview. I'll dive deeper into each of the events that we're hosting. A little about our organization, Hawaii Bicycling League. Our mission is to enable more people to ride bicycles for health, recreation, and transportation through advocacy, education, and events. We're a local nonprofit. We were founded in 1975, and we do advocacy and education work for the state. We've got 5 full-time and 6 part-time staff located on the island of Oahu. I just wanted to give you a little background about kind of who is putting on Bike Month, and obviously we will work with partners as well, but we have a good core team to help get us achieve these things. So we're kicking off our Bike Month. The first weekend, we've got the Bike Month proclamation presented by the Honolulu mayor. We're also going to be having the league, hopefully somebody from the league, presenting our Bicycle Friendly Community Award, because we've been upgraded. So we really want to celebrate those strengths and wins that we have achieved, and really get the month started off on the right pedal stroke. So we're also celebrating the 10th anniversary of a much beloved bike lane. It's our first protected bike lane on Hawaii, and so it's been 10 years. So we're going to be celebrating that on a park that's along the bike lane. We've got community partners with info booths. We've got local bike stores providing bike checkups and little tune-ups. We're also going to be doing some pedal pusher portraits, which I'll go over a little bit. And this is wrapping up with a casual paced, all ages welcome short bike ride, highlighting our first protected bike lane, as well as all of the other successes that we've had throughout the years. And this is a free event. We're trying to get a lot of people out there to really kick off the month with high energy. Pedal pusher portraits. So these are great ways to just capture people with their bikes, tell people about it, get them excited to bring their bike out. It's great to have a little whiteboard that they can write, why do you love to bike, or what's your reason for, riding. You can get a lot of great content and then share that, kind of as a slow stream out throughout the month to keep that kind of just bike joy going. We have had a different theme for Bike Month each year. We try to kind of do the logo relevant to the events that are taking place. So for example, last year we kind of highlighted more farmers markets and bike valet at farmers markets. So that's kind of where that design went into. But the League of American Bicyclists also has amazing resources that you guys can definitely use as well. But we kind of do our little Hawaii flair because we're so removed, and sometimes we feel like, it's kind of fun to just have something super local. All right. And then we've got our Film by Bike movie night. So this is a great evening, kind of just social event that is $10 for the general public, but it's free for HBL members. So this is also a way to kind of push membership to our organization to help support the work that we do. The Film by Bike movie night is going to be hosting a series of short films by Film by Bike. And we've got Patagonia to be sponsoring the venue and providing some food and drink and raffle items to sell and give away. We've got free bike valet parking, of course, and there's going to be awesome pizza too. Bike to Work Energizer stations. So National Bike to Work Week is a great way to push ridership, get people riding that may have been considering it, but, just needed that extra push to, get on their bike and try it out. Oops, sorry. We are also, of course, rewarding riders that are already riding. We've got coffee donated from a local coffee vendor, fresh made mochi waffles, grab and go snacks, epic high fives, lots of good cheer, really just like cheering everybody on. Even if they're not going to stop, we're all in it. And people get really hyped. So we love seeing that. Also, just a good touch point to talk to people that are commuting by bike if they didn't know about our organization or that it was Bike Month. Plenty of signage, stuff that says, stop for free snacks for riders, and just a good way to engage with just people passing by as well. This is free for anybody that's on a bike. Then we have our bike lane cleanup. So that is a volunteer event that just everybody can come out and help pitch in, clean up some trash that, has been gathering up in some areas of the bike lane and get that out of there, make it look just spotless and beautiful and safe. So we're partnering with the city's Department of Facility Maintenance to help clean those bike lanes up. We've got the tools, volunteer shirts, snacks, refreshments for folks to come out and pitch in. And then afterwards, we're having a little get together at a bar that's close by. So really kind of just a good feel-good event to give back to the community. We're participating in the National Ride of Silence. So this happens on May 21st, and it is just to raise awareness. Hawaii has been having a lot of fatalities on our roadways this year in particular, and we really need to stress that Safety is a shared responsibility, and really highlight that everybody needs to look out for each other, and motorists really need to make sure that they're paying attention to what they're doing. We've got speakers from the city there, as well as Honolulu Police Department. They're going to be participating as well with a bike light giveaway, because this is an evening ride. We try to get everybody to wear white, and it's going to be a solemn, silent ride, really to reflect on, just the lives that have been taken due to traffic violence, and try to kind of use that sorrow to create something that we can have be productive, and get more bike laws passed to make it safer, more bike infrastructure, and make that push kind of loud. So going from the dark to kind of the light, we have our Pauhana party at the end of the month. This is our wrap up the month with a super awesome bike party. So Pauhana means after work. It kind of translates in Pidgin or Hawaiian. So it's our bike month Pauhana party. It's the awesome event that comes with live music. We've got local artists, great food, beers, of course, and other alcoholic beverages. We've got bike-themed games, bike trivia, which we are going to be releasing some of the answers to the trivia throughout the other bike events happening throughout the month. And so those are kind of like little crumbs to get them to the Pauhana party. So this is just a really big, fun event, where we're not really having a bike ride, but we have, of course, bike valet and other bike-themed activities. Throughout the month, we have these all the time throughout the year, but we're really trying to do the whole gamut through Bike Month. We've got bike classes, from kids learning workshops to focusing on those that are already riding but want to get more confident or comfortable on the road or with flat fixing. And then we're also teaching adults how to ride bikes for the very first time. So use that kind of momentum and the national, leverage to say that, hey, it's bike month. This is the perfect month for you to get riding. You can absolutely do it. And, whether or not you're starting from scratch, you've never been on a bike, or if, you have been, but it's been a couple years, couple decades, let's get that bike out of storage, dust it off, and, get you on it and get excited. So that's pretty much what is happening in Bike Month for Hawaii. We have a website, hbl.org/bike month. We've got our little flyer there, which you can find it on our website, and more information about us there and me if you need to get in touch with me. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Malia. That is amazing. And yeah, you all are an inspiration. So thanks for your great work there. And yeah, I feel like every city wishes they had an advocacy group as strong as HBL to take on this work. So thank you. That's great. Okay, zigzagging across the country, I'm now going to invite Jessica Roble to come on to screen. And she is the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator for Greater Mercer TMA, which is in Princeton, New Jersey. So Jessica, I'll hand it off to you to share your screen and take it away. Yeah, perfect.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Roble, the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator at Greater Mercer Transportation Management Association, or GMTMA for short. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk about how our local celebrations have evolved over the years and how we're connecting them more deeply with safety advocacy and community building. The roots of Bike Month at Greater Mercer TMA. We started celebrating Bike Month as part of our mission to support safe, sustainable transportation. It began with a small local push encouraging bicycle commuting, hosting events, and highlighting cycling environmental and health benefits. Bike to Work Day soon became the cornerstone of our campaign. It started small but grew quickly. Towns, businesses, new and experienced riders all got involved, and every year we saw more and more participation and excitement. It became a celebration of both fun and fitness, and a key moment for public engagement. Logging miles and building momentum. In the early years, we invited people to log their miles, challenge coworkers, and track their environmental impact. That kind of friendly competition worked really well. It built awareness and kept people engaged. But over time, we realized that we wanted to expand the conversation beyond performance. Biking is so much more than miles, it's about people, places, and most importantly, safety. COVID, when the wheels really turned, and then 2020 came and really flipped the gears on us, and everything changed. In-person events were canceled, streets emptied, but biking surged. People turned to bikes for safe, socially distanced travel, exercise, and mental health. Trails filled up, families rode together, and new riders emerged everywhere. At Greater Mercer TMA, we were somewhat ahead of the game by already having virtual bike to work challenges, but people were no longer biking to work. Regardless, we still stayed connected through photos and stories, and the spirit of Bike Month stayed, just with a lot more Zoom. A shift toward connection and safety. Coming out of the COVID experience, we wanted to reimagine what Bike Month could be. Instead of focusing on miles logged, we're going back to the basics and focusing on human connection, sustainability, and safety. We're asking what makes a ride memorable? Who do we meet along the way? How do we create safer, more welcoming streets for everyone? This shift aligns perfectly with our work around Vision Zero and the Safe Systems approach. At Greater Mercer TMA, we're not just promoting biking, we're advocating for a future where no one is killed or seriously injured on our roadways. Vision Zero and Safe Systems at GMTMA. New Jersey became one of the first states in the US to sign Vision Zero legislation into law by creating the Target Zero Commission, aimed at eliminating traffic fatalities and serious injuries statewide. This commission is tasked with developing data-driven strategies focusing on roadway design, speed management, and safety for all road users, which includes pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. This law set a bold goal: zero traffic deaths or serious injuries by 2040. It's a huge step forward, and at Greater Mercer TMA, we support this effort with grassroots education, safe routes to school planning, bike and pedestrian safety programs, and public outreach. The Safe Systems approach supports that by designing transportation systems that anticipate human error and minimize harm. Bike Month is the perfect opportunity to talk about these goals. It gives us a platform to raise awareness, educate the public, and empower communities to advocate for safer infrastructure. Storytelling for change. This Bike Month, we're spotlighting stories over stats, and this is kind of a new concept that we're trying out this year. We've invited the community to share biking moments that matter, like a ride to ice cream with your family and friends, a quiet evening commute, a ride with a neighbor that turned into a tradition, a bike bus that made a child feel safe and confident with the hope that that child takes it into adulthood. These stories are powerful. They show what's at stake and they inspire action. When we pair these stories with Vision Zero messaging, we're reminding people behind every safety initiative is a real person, a parent, a child, a friend, a neighbor, and they all just want to get to their destination safely. So this year we're doing weekly Bike Month challenges. They're fun themed and invite everyone from new riders to longtime commuters to participate. So week one is Bike to Nature, which actually just started yesterday. Week two is Bike to Friends and Fun. bike to work, bike to eats and treats, and finally ending the competition with bike to history. So we're challenging people to take selfies and post them. And each challenge invites riders to share their adventures on social media, tag us, and reflect on what makes biking a joyful and meaningful experience. Storytelling for safety and change. These weekly themes aren't just cute prompts. They're also ways to engage people in safer habits, connect them with their community, and humanizing biking. When people connect emotionally, they start to care. And when they care, they advocate. And that's where real safety changes begin. The opportunity for change is a reality that most trips are bikeable. So here's something pretty striking. 52% of all trips made in the US are less than 3 miles, and then 28% of those trips are less than 1 mile. These distances are easily bikeable, assuming that there's safe biking infrastructure to go along with it. Yet most of these short trips are still made by car. This shows how much potential there is for biking to become a bigger part of daily life, not just for recreation, but for errands, school runs, work commutes, and connecting to local places. The more we normalize biking for these short trips, the safer we make it, the more we can shift toward healthier, more sustainable communities. Pedaling forward together, Bike Month gives us an opportunity to bring all these threads together: celebration, connection, advocacy, and safety. So whether you're a policy advocate, a first-time rider, a parent trying to teach your kid how to balance, or someone who just loves a good trail ride, your voice matters and your ride matters. So let's keep pedaling forward toward a future of zero crashes, more connection, and streets where everyone feels safe. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. That was great. Appreciate that. And yeah, it's really fun to see how it's evolved over time. Okay, last but not least, we've got one more speaker. We have Ben McDonald coming from Ridgeland, Mississippi, and I'm actually going to share my screen. Bear with me one second. And your slides up then. Okay, you guys see that?
Yeah, so is my audio okay? Sorry.
Yep,
Audio
you're good. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, thanks to the Bike League. Thanks to Amelia for putting this together, and thanks for selecting Ridgeland to kind of share a little bit about what we're doing for Bike Month. I've been with the city for a couple of years, and you might be able to read that, but my title is the Special Events Coordinator. I'm in the Recreation and Parks Department. And thankfully, a lot of the events that we put on are bicycle events. It's not the only thing that I do. I'm not just bike event. You know, we might do kids events, family events that are not biking related. But obviously, in May we highlight those. You know, throughout the year, some events that we've done 5 or 10 years ago don't exist, but we've also added some events in the last 5 years as well. So we try to see what works and see where there's a need and interest, you know, whether it be racing or fun ride or social ride, kids ride, that sort of thing. So that first slide you're looking at, that's our latest Bicycle Safety Month proclamation. That's our mayor in the middle, who is an avid cyclist. I believe he's around 75 years old, and most days he's going to ride about 25, 30 miles. We live right here in central Mississippi along the Natchez Trace Parkway. So we have that area to bike on, as well as trails and multi-use paths and bike lanes that we've built in Ridgeland. And so in that picture, we have a few people from local bike groups, bike shops, our tourism department. We have a police officer in the back that's a school resource officer, and he's on bike a lot of the time. So it's a good resource to have, obviously. But yeah, we sign that usually around this time. We might do it next week. I'm not real sure. We're pretty busy planning an event I'll get to in a minute. But I actually have been a part of this proclamation even before I came on to work for the city. I was previously with Bike Walk Mississippi as the bicycle safety ambassador, and then came to work for the city, and now I'm kind of part of organizing it. So it's kind of been a nice transition and to see that. I think the second slide you're on there just kind of tells about the people in the proclamation. Again, we sign every year, so I think we can go to the next one, Amelia. Our annual family fun ride, we just started this last year. So those pictures are from our first and only to this point, but we have the one for this year planned. I think it's the 18th, and we do it on a Sunday, just pretty informal. The goal is to bring a lot of kids out, and you can see from the picture there are a few kids in the middle. We had real good support. Hopefully this year we'll have a greater ratio kid to adult, and we just mapped out a little 2.2 mile route from City Hall, that City Hall in the background. And we had our bicycle police officer, Scott Young, who's also on the bicycle advisory committee that I'm chairman of, had him lead the ride on his police bicycle. And then we had support from police officers in cars controlling traffic, because we did get on a pretty busy road. And as you can see, there's some small riders. So we essentially had one full lane of a highway to ourselves, and I did a 2.2 mile lap, and we got done. And of course the kids were like, let's go again, let's go again. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, when the kids get pumped up about it, that, that kind of gives you a little energy and encourages, kind of makes it all worthwhile. So that'll be again in about 3 weeks, I think the 18th of May. And again, pretty low key, but just trying to get more kids out. We have a couple of elementary schools in Ridgeland, and we'll make flyers and distribute those to the schools to put in. I think it's like the cubby holes or the kids' take home bags or backpacks, something like that. So, okay, we'll go to the Rite of Silence, Amelia. I believe Malia in Hawaii had spoken about the Rite of Silence. You can see possibly that middle picture. You see kind of the right shoulder of Jace. You can see his blue shirt and part of his sunglasses, but he's been involved with this ride. He could tell you a little more, but I think we are one of the longest continuing Rite of Silence events in the country. I want to say 18, 20 years, something like that. And pretty well attended. We hosted out of one of our large local mall parking lots, have great support from the police. And we're on very busy roads for this ride. And like Malia was saying, it's really neat when you have, 50 or 100 or whatever the attendance is, riders, and it's pretty silent. I mean, when we give instructions, we let people know, hey, call out potholes, call out, if a car pulls out, your regular communication, but we do want to make it a little bit of a somber thing. And for those of you that have not put on or participated in a Rite of Silence, one of the neat things, I don't know if the police like this or not, but a lot of cars will pull over like you would see in a funeral procession. And it kind of, obviously it makes you feel important that cars are pulling over, but it kind of lets me, and I think the riders, know that they get it and they somehow see what we're doing. Maybe they heard about it, and they're kind of respecting the Rite of Silence as if it is a funeral procession, which in a way it is. But we've had Jace, like I said, has kind of turned the reins over to us here at the city, so we'll continue that with different rider groups, and of course our police department gives great support for that. So coming up this weekend, you can move to the next one, Amelia, is our Natchez Trace Century Ride. This is our 26th year. I don't know if any of you on the call will be attending. Right now, we're about 700 riders signed up, and we have a few more days of registration. So this is only my second year at the helm of leading and promoting, organizing this ride. For those of you that have put together a pretty big event, you know, a fun ride or even a race, you can appreciate all the logistics that go into it. We have to coordinate with about 5 different law enforcement agencies. You can see a little bit in the background of that big group of riders. There's water in the background. That's the Ross Barnett Reservoir, and our part of the ride just circles around the reservoir. And we use the Natchez Trace, which is a federal parkway. We use county roads in 2 different counties, and we have city and anyway, a lot of different law enforcement agencies that we coordinate with. And of course, we have rest stops and T-shirts and jerseys. You can see riders in the front wearing a couple of our jerseys from a previous year. We try to make them pretty colorful. So this year, our theme is Tunes on the Trace, as in music tunes on the trace. And so we're actually, as we speak, I have our Mayor's Youth Council up here at City Hall. We're stuffing the rider bags with, you know, T-shirts, Huggies, towels, hats, all that good stuff. So just a few more days, which it's really exciting when the day comes and the riders roll off. And as a lot of you know, the days leading up to a big event are a little bit of stressful, you know, some restless nights and trying to make sure you've done everything on your checklist and gotten all the permits and ordered all the drinks and all that good stuff. So it's been stressful, but looking forward to the actual Saturday ride day kind of helps me get through. There's our mayor. As you can see, I think he'd asked me something about the route. So I don't know, I guess I look like I'm doing something important, pointing my phone there. But yeah, he's been a great advocate, you know, with his leadership and his him promoting Ridgeland as a biking town, a bicycle friendly community. I think we're around 25,000 people. So not a big city, but it is great to have a mayor that rides a bike and believes in the importance of it and wants other people to do the same. So I think that's about all. I don't have any of the cool slides. Henry and Malia and Jessica, y'all had some really cool slides. So, you know, this is a part of what I do, and with my role leading our bicycle advocacy group, I was able to be a part of the bicycle friendly application again this year. So again, thanks Amelia for letting me speak. Thank you all for listening, and I think I'll stick around as well. I think we're doing Q&A at the end possibly.
Yeah, it's time for Q&A. So thanks so much, Ben. I really appreciate that. And it's great to see all those images of great events in the years past, and good luck on the upcoming event. So I'm going to invite all of our speakers to come back on camera so we can do some Q&A. And once again, I'm putting the URL up of where you can find the webinar recording of this later, and we'll also email it out to everyone. So if you found any of this content helpful and inspiring and you want to share it with others in your community, please feel free to share that recording out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just, so we can all see each other. And thank you again to all the speakers for being a part of this. It's really fun to hear all the different similarities and differences across communities. And we got a question in the chat: are all of these bicycle-friendly communities? And yes, not only are they all BFCs, but they were all BFCs recognized in our 2024 round. So I very much pulled the speaker list from things that I read on BFC applications last fall that I found inspiring and exciting. So thanks again to you all for being sources of inspiration. So I have some questions, and then I see questions are starting to come in through the Q&A and the chat. So I will sort of moderate and read those. But I wanted to start out getting everybody talking about partnerships. Henry, you mentioned the importance of partnerships, and I tried to highlight the fact that we've got cities and a TMA and an advocacy group, and lots of different hats being worn on the call today. But we know that there are also lots of other organizations partnering behind the scenes and in the front, and also that there's often a handoff where one organization or individual owns something and then sort of hands it off to another. So I'd love to hear advice from you all on starting out partnerships. If someone in the audience feels like they're the only one trying to get this started in their community, and maybe they want to approach an entity like yours maybe they have a regional group, or the city isn't yet doing Bike Month, but the advocate wants to sort of spark something new. Any advice for anyone in those shoes? And that's general, so anybody feel free to come off mute.
I guess my advice would be to start earlier than you think you need, like by a couple months probably. I started this year in February, and I think I probably could have benefited by kind of getting into more of a groove maybe before the holidays even.
Yeah, I would second that. We tend to try to start our conversations for spring as early as November, December, just because it can be hard to get everybody together. But I think if you are feeling like you're working alone, I would look for whose bike do you see out and about, or looking on some social media or other postings online to see if there are energetic folks. I mean, scoping out which offices have bike racks and stuff like that can be also a good place to start. If your local area doesn't offer materials, like some of the maps or other resources that I was sharing, I would recommend some of those league resources, and especially starting from a foundation of safety, even if stakeholders or municipality jurisdictional folks aren't all in on the multimodal lifestyle, let's say, they should still be interested in promoting safety. And that's sort of a very commonly shared value that we can start with to build the trust, build the cooperation, and so forth, to build a foundation from there.
Yeah, and if anything, local bike stores, I mean, they're definitely bike people that are going to be there, and hopefully can maybe provide something as simple as like a tune-up or, muffins in one morning, and then that kind of gets the conversation started. If you have any kind of funding to put materials together, like, even an email or like a shirt, having people's logos on it and having a deadline to get those logos on the shirt or whatever can really help you kind of just plan things out a little better. If you say, okay, this is the deadline, then that kind of gives them the impetus to commit money or whatever sooner than later. Because I think December, that sounds like a good time to get things started.
Awesome, thank you all. Question that Malia, you might have especially thoughts on this as a coach, an LCI coach, but how often do you engage with local LCIs to promote biking education?
Yes.
So anybody should feel free to answer that. But yeah, Amelia, let's start with you.
Yeah, so we have, like I mentioned, all those bike workshops that are held by LCI. So Hawaii Bicycling League, our organization, kind of does coordinate the LCIs. Obviously, they can go and do things on their own, but that just gives them a place that they can go to. And we've got classes that we kind of schedule out, and then they can fill in. And that's a perfect opportunity. Everything, like I mentioned, from teaching adults how to ride to, gear shifting to group riding, and also the kids classes as well. So those are all held by LCIs or taught by them.
Anybody else want to chime in with LCI answers? If not, I'll move on to the next.
Sure. Yeah, we're definitely much newer on that journey. It sounds like, Malia, than your organization seems pretty well developed in that space. We had our first ever league cycling instructor seminar just last November here. So we went from having one active instructor in the whole region to now we have 7 or 8. And so that's really exciting. 2 of us are here at the city, and so we are trying to elevate opportunities for the trained folks to be in the training position as we're trying to coordinate with local riding groups. Especially, we've got a lot of youth like after school mountain biking groups, and so using those as one place to also try to get in front of younger riders or newer riders has been fruitful so far, but we're early on the journey. So definitely interested in developing that further.
Awesome, thanks. Ben, I have a very specific question for you. So inspiring example from the bike parade, especially with support from the local PD. For the annual family fun ride, who owned the roadways for your 2-mile ride, and what permits or coordination was needed to make that happen?
Yeah, so you're talking about the family fun ride we have coming up. Yeah, so normally for an event, Natchez Trace Century Ride we talked about, Ride of Silence, and then other events throughout the year, whether it's bike or otherwise, that we put on recreation parks. I will fill out a special event permit. We have a link to that document on our city website. I will mail it over to the police department, which I can see over my shoulder, but I guess I'd rather email it than walk it across the street. But for this one, Scott Young, you might have seen him in a couple of pictures. He is he's a school resource officer for local elementary schools. And a lot of times he's on the multi-use trail on his bike in uniform. I think it's a Trek. I don't know what model, but it's, kind of a hybrid bicycle. But I coordinate with him. And since he's a police officer, I'll just say, well, if you don't mind filling out the permit, I think, maybe because it's going to them anyway, he will fill out the permit for that event. They're city roads, and I think we had two other police officers on the course at kind of key points in their police cruiser, their vehicle, just making sure. And we spread out adults, put the kids between the adults. We let a few adults lead. We don't want a 6-year-old going bombing down this hill, crossing the railroad tracks, because he's not looking at the car. So, we slow down at the stop sign. All right, everybody good. We kind of regroup and that sort of thing. So yeah, just a 2.2 mile loop with police cars at key points. And then Scott Young, who is on our bicycle advisory committee here at the city, he's our point of contact to do the permit. So did that cover all the aspects of that question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That's great. Okay, now, Malia, I have a very specific question for you. Could you talk more about your pedal pusher whiteboard banner? Do you have many riders pedal to it and capture the photo? Is it a meeting point for riders? Curious how you leverage it.
Nice. Yeah, great question. So we've got 10 by 10 tents that we were able to print out like a banner wall, like, it's like, I don't know, made out of some kind of fabric. And that just adheres to the back of the tent legs. And then that creates a really nice photographic background. But I mean, even just a white background, a wall. And then we tell people, this is happening paired with an Energizer station. And we say this specific day, Wednesday during National Bike to Work Week, at this location, we're going to be taking these pictures. And then, we can try to get people's hashtags so that we can, or whatever account, social media, so we can tag them and they can tag us. And then if you've got a trendy hashtag that you want to use, that's probably a good idea to give to them if they're going to be posting it so that you can promote, your Bike Month stuff. But yeah, it's a free thing. It's kind of just set up if people want to roll up and then, they're enticed by the free food or coffee, then we can ask them, oh yeah, you wanted have your picture taken, and and then we do have like a photo release to make sure it's okay for us to post it. And then, we kind of, like I said, slow release them out. And having the little whiteboard, it's just a whiteboard that you can erase. But if you wanted to print out like a slogan that people can fill in, oh, why do they love to bike? Or, what is the benefit of biking, or whatever you want them to say, they can write it in with a whiteboard. And then it's also good to take one without one. So you can kind of mix them both up. And I know we also had thought about doing this paired with like a bike registry program. So things like Bike Index, where you can take a picture of the person with their bike and then fill out the kind of application to log in their bike information. So if it gets stolen, et cetera. So that's also kind of a good draw for folks. But yeah, we love those pictures. They're really good things to use for just the future, anything. So definitely recommend that.
Awesome. I love that. And yeah, it's a great idea to combine it with bike registration.
And it could just be with your phone. I mean, it doesn't have to be like anything crazy fancy.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm just going to share a suggestion that came in through the chat of someone who in San Diego, another idea, bike to shop activity, showing off various things you can carry and like how much you can carry on a bike and creative things you can do with bikes from a very functional stance. So thanks for that, Jim. Okay, another question. Someone would love to hear how you all engage locally owned businesses to participate in National Bike Month. And we touched on this a tiny bit with partnerships, but this is another question for anyone. And Jessica, I might start with you because I'm going to expand locally owned businesses to large institutions as well, like say Princeton University. I know you met with them last week. So start there, but also think about like small locally owned businesses.
Yeah, so this year's a little bit different because this is our first time really just doing the photo contest. And really what I find is just kind of going out to farmers markets where there's small businesses. Tabling events are great. Like when we go there and then I have opportunity to have face-to-face with business owners and just networking that way and explaining what we're doing. And some businesses also just have like a long history with us so that they know who we are, and they when they get the email about Bike Month, they know the drill. So it's really great to have that kind of relationship with small businesses. And then as far as like larger institutions go, as I just mentioned, we do a lot of tabling events. And this year for Earth Month, we were quite busy promoting Bike Month and our initiatives through those events.
Thank you. Anybody else want to add locally owned businesses?
Could you look up like bicycle friendly businesses and then like kind of start from there, maybe on the league's website? And then, yeah, putting out kind of a question to riders, like just if you have like a Facebook group or you're just interacting with folks, like where do you stop at? Where do you get your coffee at? Where do you go for a lunch, and they welcome you, or there's a bike rack that's easily accessible or that's always full. That's a good place to start. The folks that are, kind of cool with it already. And then having that be developed and other businesses see like the promotion that they're getting because you're basically promoting their business during this entire month, and that's kind of how you got to pitch it. I think is just what are they going to get out of it too. Yeah.
We put some of our business promotion on hold this year just because we were learning so much and taking over so much from a bike month perspective. But one strategy that I've thought about before is thinking about where new bike lanes are being installed and or new infrastructure, parking or otherwise, and approaching shops along those corridors because oftentimes there's some misconceptions in the business community about the economic impact of bike lanes, especially if they're replacing parking or otherwise. And so that can be a great opportunity both to promote some of those businesses that may have the wrong idea about how their business will change with bike lanes coming in nearby, or even just enhancing or helping them see the benefit of having that infrastructure nearby.
Awesome. Yeah, and I put the link in the chat to our local resources map, which is a great place to look up bicycle friendly businesses or bike shops. And I'll just say that for almost every single bicycle friendly business feedback report that we write, we suggest to them participate in Bike Month, support Bike to Work Day, partner, do in kind. There's lots of ways. So we're telling them to go find you, organizers of Bike Month, and support it. So hopefully they're doing that too. Okay, with one final minute, we got a great question to close us out with. How do you keep Bike Month rolling beyond May to inspire folks to keep the momentum strong? Any quick words of wisdom there?
I would say, for us, we have certain events that are year round. We've started one in the fall. That's a bike ride called Cycle Out Kids Cancer. We had a physician on staff, his wife was on staff. So we kind of partnered there. You talk about, partnering with local businesses. We have a children's hospital. It's not in our city, but in central Mississippi, everything kind of overlaps, towns overlap and that sort of thing. So if you have things planned ahead of time, so it's October 12th, I should know the date, but it's second Saturday in October, then, as May is going, you can say, okay, put on your calendar, October 12th, Cycle Out Kids Cancer. And we have save the date cards that I send around the different, bike rides in the South. But yeah, when everybody's kind of hyped up about it, whether it's a coffee ride or a fun ride or a kids ride, get them to commit to something in the fall. And then hopefully when the fall comes around, because I don't know about you all, but college football is huge in the South. Kids sports are huge. There's a lot of things that compete for our time with bike events. So if you get them thinking about it, when the hype is high, maybe they'll put on their calendar, commit, they'll sign up, they'll tell a friend, and the word continues to spread.
Or if anything, just grab their email, grab some kind of way you can contact them so you can get them later. But that's a great, have things lined up for them to sign up for.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you all so much. That's the perfect note to end on. I really appreciate all the great insights and examples and resources. I did put one more link in the chat to our Bike Month website, and you should feel free to use those year round. You don't have to wait for May, and feel free to steal all of these ideas and use them in your community. And we look forward to hearing about them on future BFC applications and on our Bike Month map. So thanks again to our speakers, and thanks everybody who joined live today and or is watching the recording later. Happy Bike Month, everyone.